And now to the homeless crisis. It turns out the Sacramento Police Department is mobilizing a special unit to tackle a growing number of mental health related calls. Many of those folks actually experiencing homelessness. Tonight, we went along for a ride to see what is indeed a very dangerous job.
Put it down!
We have a transient at the Golden One Center. We called earlier for the police, but he has hit his head and we need paramedics as well.
Would you believe that is just one of a record-breaking 12,469 mental health-related calls in the capital city in just the last year, many involving people experiencing homelessness.
And now I look at my son, and you know what I realize? I realize that it's not choices. Maybe 10% of those people is choices, but a lot of those people have problems.
Christine McDaniel says her 24-year-old son Eric could have easily been one of these countless stories that made the news after going years before being diagnosed with schizophrenia.
I didn't know how to deal with the drugs. I didn't know how to just, if I needed to kick him out, all of us had our own ways of dealing with it, and it tore our family completely apart. And in the midst of that, my son was in the streets.
Christine insists Officer Dan Bean and the folks in the Sacramento Mental Health Police Unit saved her son's life. So I wanted to get a first-hand look at their efforts to tackle this mental health crisis.
We have, 4 officers, and that's grown substantially since I became part of the unit.
Police Department.
You might call the unit a kind of hybrid between social services and law enforcement. At this stop, a gentleman who hears voices and has even threatened violence.
Hey, buddy. Long time no see.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi. Hi.
What?
Your brother's worried about you.
I know he is.
The beauty of our unit and units like it is that we're having the freedom to be able to go back and spend as much time as we need with that individual to hopefully prevent this from being an issue in the future.
I'm not out killing anybody.
Good?
What?
You're on your meds and all that? Everything's
Yeah,
good?
just let them take them.
Okay.
Doing things that traditional officers wouldn't do.
How do you feel about that? I mean, a lot of folks say, I didn't sign up to do this. I signed up to get the bad guys and take the bad folks off the street. This is a whole new level of work.
It really is. I mean, we're not necessarily going out and getting bad guys. These aren't bad guys. These are people that have challenges in their life. And, at the end of the day, every officer signed up for this job to help people. And that's what we're doing on a daily basis.
In this case, he's been taking his meds, and so the voices are gone for now.
It was real to me. It really was.
Yeah. And I you know me. I've never doubted that was real to you.
I know
And
you did.
I've tried to treat
I had
you
a couple that came and they
Right.
really,
But I try to treat you with respect.
You
I
always
try to-
have.
yeah.
Always have.
But let's be real, things don't always go this smoothly. Christine, for example, tells me she had to call the police on her own son for a serious intervention.
It took about 10 of them to do that, and it was not pretty, and I cried, and it was very ugly in the neighborhood. But after that day of that chaos and that happening, and my son being in a hospital for about a 3-month period, my son has not had one issue with the police.
Yes, Eric is doing better. That's him there with the long hair, even going to sporting events with Dad. Christine says the regular check-ins from the mental health unit help build trust.
Now that my son has people that he's trusting, he's flourishing.
And that is good news for the entire community when you consider mental health-related calls have been steadily increasing from 10,000 in 2016 to close to 12,500 calls in 2019.
Having that many calls, and when you really get down to it, a lot of them are repeat calls. It's, the same individual that might utilize police services 5 times a week because potentially even more.
And so Officer Bean does not mind doing the house calls. He's freeing up officers to respond to other pressing issues across the capital city. Again, that is 4 people tackling what is indeed a challenging job here in the capital city. We thank the Sacramento Police Department for allowing us to tag along.